Hello and welcome to Transformation Now. Hi, I'm Rita Rocker Craft with SoaringHigher.rocks and have another program for you today that I believe will really help you in confidence building, in your communication skills, and just really how to effectively communicate with everybody, no matter what their age or their style is. So I'll give you some examples from my latest book, Shaping Your Future, Become the Brand Everyone Wants. And it has a lot of excellent information for not only career, but also even personally, who we are and how that affects our lives and our finances and our careers and everything. So I'm going to go now with chapter 4, and that's called Perception is Reality, Effectively Communicating with Anyone. And we all want to do that. Sometimes we're more comfortable just with people that are our own age, our own professional group, etc. But we can and should really work at trying to communicate with younger people, older people, people of different industries, and really be comfortable with everybody in this world. I remember when I worked at a very large, well-known and then infamous company that I worked for one of the senior vice presidents, but no matter who it was, whether it was another vice president or it was the custodian, he always called everybody by name and said, "Hello, how are you doing?" And I was so impressed with that he did not raise himself up to a level where he wouldn't talk to certain people because of the type of job. So that's what we want to do, is really bring people in and communicate very effectively. And you know, our mental attitude has everything to do with our personalities. And personalities will cause us to be a certain way, to draw a certain type of person to us. And the more that you can keep a flexible, positive attitude, the better it will be and make you become stronger in your ability to communicate with just about anyone, because we want to do that. We have very little control over most people's treatment of us. Now there again, we need to learn to say no. We need to learn to conduct ourselves in a way that people respect us. Why? Because we respect ourselves first. But we can control how we communicate back to them what we will and will not allow them to do. So you think about perceptions. One of the discussions that's in the book is, what types of communication do you see in others? So start being very diligent in watching people and the types of communication that they are giving off, because it will give you immediate messages. And again, like I've said before, that first 7 seconds when you see someone and they walk in the door or wherever they came from, we all make judgments about that person, about their own self-perception, about their communication skills, if they have self-respect, how confident they are, if they're trustworthy, if they're motivated, etc. You know, what their future success is. We make all kinds of determinations within those first 7 seconds. And in the first 20 seconds, we're making judgments. Once we hear them, the first 20 seconds that we hear them speak, we're making judgments on whether we want to hear more. Yes, I want to hear more. I want to get to know you more and find out what you're doing and what you have to offer. Or, excuse me, I need to go talk to someone else, and walk away. And so we need to make sure that when we are meeting people, we're talking to people, that we have the kind of energy that draws people in, but also shows that we have respect and that we're very confident. And so think about that. So what effect does their body language have on you? It's a very good exercise to do, and to really learn and to study body language and how that makes us think, how that makes us feel, and then what we do from there. And it could be, what are they exhibiting? Are they happy? Does that make you happy? Are they angry? Does that throw a wet blanket on your communications, your conversations, or your relationship? Do they seem excited? Do they seem kind of sad and bummed out? So what is it with that the communication styles, the personality, the energy that they're giving off to you? Their overall appearance. We don't want someone to fix our hair if they look like they just rolled out of bed. We don't want someone to move our furniture into a new home if their truck is all beat up and if they're a mess, because I've seen that happen. So what effects does that have on you according to what you're hearing people say and what you see in them and in their body language? You know, the words that they use are so important because, again, 55% of our communication is nonverbal: how we sit, stand, walk, what we look like, how we enter a room, how we shake hands, all of that nonverbal, 55%. 38%, like I've mentioned before, is the quality of our voice, which is our expression, our pitch, and the tone of our voice. So that's also very important, where many studies have proven that only about 7% of our conversation is the words we use. That's kind of hard to think of, that's all. But there's been so many studies throughout the years that have proven that's basically about the amount of percentage of what we're saying. It's more how we say it and how our body is talking at the same time. And so how does that other person affect your energy? Were you in a great mood and then somebody walked in the room and they were all angry and out of sorts, and then that just kind of went and maybe put you in not so good mood? Or maybe you were feeling a little down, a little sad, and somebody came in and, hey, great to see you. And they were really positive and happy to see you and talk with you. How did you feel then? Most likely that helped to raise your energy level up and feel much better. So think about energy, think about this perception, your perception, and how that will affect your personality and how other people look at you, how other people treat you. So always think about that. You know, when somebody talks to me, do I bite back at them? And maybe it has nothing to do with something they said, but it's reminded me of something somebody else said. I see that a lot in relationships. Or praise. We can always say, you know, hello, gives a person a praise. That was a great job. You did a wonderful job. You look really nice today. Maybe they feel really funky, but they just happen to look a little bit nicer that day. So, you know, say something like that to build people up. And one of the exercises, again, in the book is between now and your next class, as I tell them, watch in your personal, professional life and notate what other people are doing, what their behaviors are, what their appearance is. If you really, really are careful to watch and listen and not just kind of pass it by, but watch I love that people watch just because it's fun. But you learn a lot when you do that. And so start watching and see what their behaviors are, and then notice your feelings. How many of those behaviors and actions and words made you feel good, made you feel respected, or made you respect them more? And how many of them were negative? Because we can pick up a lot of things by that and go, okay, I think I kind of maybe do that too. I might be a little too short. I might be interrupting people all the time. And we can learn so much by how do I feel talking to them? And how must they feel talking with me? So think about that. Success really starts on the inside with a self-image checkup. And we've gone over that in several programs. But again, think about your voice. Think about what it's doing. How are you feeling when you hear certain sounds? And sometimes people have been kind of trained, or they've heard a certain sound in someone's voice. And so every time they hear that, it might trigger them in a positive way, or they hear a sound in someone's voice that they had to deal with when they were younger with a parent or a teacher or someone, and it can trigger a negative reaction. So we always, always, always want to watch people and see how are they reacting to what I'm saying. Because sometimes I really need to change how I'm saying something, or maybe say, looks like you have something on your mind here. Do you want to talk about this? Or ask them a question about what they're thinking. So how are you feeling when you hear certain sounds too? I think that's very important. The tone of voice, the words that are used, and then again, watch how people react to you. How does your face feel? You know, sometimes we can say something oh yes, everything's fine, but our face is going, oh, no, it's not so fine. And so I always watch facial expressions and their eyes more than any other body language, because it's going to tell you a lot about how they really feel. If they're happy about it, sad about it, if they need more explanations about something. So always look at that. Always make sure the body language is saying the same thing that the words are, because that's very, very important in your relationships. Are the shoulders back and drop down, which shows confidence? Are they kind of slumped, like, oh gee, bad day, or I don't feel very good, or I don't feel good enough to really talk to you, things like that? Is the walk very confident, or is it kind of down and out? So you think about that. All of those things affect how people are reading us. And so you always want to think about that. Now, perception really is, as I've said before, reality, because how we perceive ourselves, confident, positive, great athlete, great musician, great author, great teacher, great baker, whatever, how we perceive ourselves, that's how other people are going to see us too. I remember when I went into the doctor's office and these two people, a woman and a man, and they were dressed in suits and they were so professional, and everybody was like, oh wow, we're so happy to see you again. And I'm thinking, what in the world are they selling, or what do they have? They looked like executives, the way they were acting, the way they were dressed, and it was chocolates. They had a chocolate company, and these people were just all over them, you know, and it was like, oh wow, chocolates. And I remember being on a little 18-seater airplane that was scaring me because it was so loud. And yet the lady who was actually passing out the drinks and the pillows and everything like that was the most professional flight attendant I had ever seen in my life. And I thought, this lady needs to be on a big jumbo jet or something like that, and she probably worked up to that. But she treated everyone with so much respect, even though she was on this little loud 18-seater plane. And so everyone, I could tell, felt appreciated, and she took care of everything, and we really, really appreciated that. And it gives a good name to your business as well, your brand, because we're all a brand. So everything we give out, everything we give off is affecting our brand, who we are and what our business is. So again, think about habits that may be second nature to us that maybe we want to break. Like when I learned that I needed to answer the phone more professionally, that was a habit that I had to break. There may be other habits. Sometimes people will maybe sit around in the lunchroom and start maybe gossiping about someone. That's a habit you definitely would want to break. So think about different habits that maybe we could kind of adjust or let go of that and create a new habit. In the morning or whenever you're leaving, stand in front of the full-length mirror and really look. You know, is my hair combed? Do I look like I just rolled out of bed or mowed the lawn? Do I look professional today? How will people treat me by how I look, how I'm carrying myself? Get that chin up and the confidence as you walk out. But grooming makes a big difference, because I think a long time ago I had mentioned when I worked, again, at this very now infamous corporation, and I worked in human resources, and a gentleman came in applying for a job, and he had all of the education and he had all of the work experience. I thought he was great. And when he finished, he not only sent the woman who interviewed him a thank you note, but he also sent her flowers, which is going beyond the norm. And she would not hire him. And I said, Beth, why won't you hire this man? He has absolutely everything I thought you were looking for. And she said, well, he had little nubs on his collar. You know, you get the cotton and the synthetic fabric, and if it wears a lot on the collar, it could maybe get those little tiny nubs on there. She noticed those little tiny nubs on his collar, and she said, to me, that shows a lack of attention to detail. So she wouldn't hire him. And I was just like flabbergasted that she would do that. But sometimes people will make decisions just off of unpolished shoes, unkempt nails. That means, oh gosh, this person doesn't take much attention to detail. They don't maybe care about themselves enough, so they won't care about my business enough. You would be amazed at some of the judgments people make. So that's, again, a good reason to watch how people are, how they react, how you think they feel by how they're acting, And definitely, how do you feel? How do you feel with all these interactions? And start being very observant about all that. So again, do your clothes reflect your personality and your commitment to doing a good job? And when I had a mover come over one time to move me, and his truck was clean, and he had clean jeans and a clean t-shirt and well-combed hair, and he looked awesome, even though he was dressed very casually, I thought, this is the guy that I want to move my furniture, because if he takes this good care of everything else, he's going to make sure that nothing gets damaged and broken, etc. And so it meant a lot, even, as talking to a mover. So think about that, and your voice, characteristics, impressions, etc. So that's very important. Now, communication skills that can make you and not break you, again, are the ones that I've been talking about, where you're creating a positive first impression. Now, sometimes if you're going to a networking group or you're meeting people and you want to be able to tell them in, say, 30 seconds what you do, and then obviously find out what they're doing. And so something you could say is, I provide individuals who want to change their careers with new thought processes and communication techniques to greatly enhance their marketability. With SoaringHigher.rocks, I'm Rita Rocker Kraft. So what did I do? Just very quickly, I told them what I do, but I also put them sort of in the driver's seat, so they know that it's to, if they're wanting to change careers, that they can come up with new thought processes and communication techniques to be more marketable. So instead of saying, well, I write books and I talk to people and I do some coaching and I do this and that, well, that doesn't really tell them anything. You put your focus on them to help them be more marketable, because this is what you can do for them. And so always think about what you can do for them when you talk to people, and create like a one sentence, could be a long one, but like about one sentence, or if you have like 30 seconds or so to introduce them. But again, it's all about them, because once they know, oh, this person can help me with this, this, and this, that's what really counts. Not how many books you've written or how many touchdowns you had on something, but that's what's really important. Again, it's all about them. So mingling, a lot of times if you're shy, and I'd rather talk in front of 500 people than go into a room of strangers and mingle with them. And I know that maybe sounds a little strange, but that's how I work. But a lot of times if you do feel shy and you're going, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm going into a room networking. I have to build up business for the company and I don't know what to do. And so a lot of times I've recommended to people, if there's a position you can have, like being at the table where the names are, the registrations, things like that, volunteer to do that, because when you do that, it's amazing how much more confident and comfortable you are. Hi, how are you doing? Welcome, etc. And so you can do that, or always go up to someone who looks equally as shy, maybe standing by themselves, having a snack or having a drink in their hand, something like that, and start asking them about them instead of going, oh my gosh, what am I going to say about me? I just don't know what to say about me. Ask them about them, what they do, what brought them there today to go to this meeting. And so start asking questions about other people, and it really melts down a lot of the walls or the insecurities. And so try that as well. But mingling is very, very important. So again, since we don't really, we really don't start listening to people right away in the introductions. And so if someone says their name and, like I'm Rita Rocker Kraft, I'm with SoaringHigher.rocks, I help people with their careers and their communication skills. Do they remember my name? Do they remember your name? Probably not. Why? Because that first 7 seconds, we're checking out their hair, their clothes, their teeth, whatever. We are checking them out. We are not listening. And so if you say what you do and what you can do for them and then give them their name, by then they're actually listening and they've stopped checking everything out and sizing everything up. So that is very, very helpful when you're meeting people to do that and to shift. So again, if you're with a company or something like that, that's a good exercise. Like bring the employees into a conference room if you're having a staff meeting anyway, and have them practice. I don't care if it's the receptionist, if it's the bookkeeper, or whoever it is, have them all together becoming comfortable introducing themselves in a way that people know what they do, but now they're going to hear their name because they've stopped looking at them like that. So if you're not sure on a dress code, what to do when you go, a lot of times we don't know what exactly to wear. I've seen, unfortunately, a lot of times with women, they're wearing clothes cut down to here and up to there, and their female attorneys are doing that in court. I've talked to men at, businessmen with their suits on and stuff that even are saying, I don't think I want to do business with this woman because she looks like she's there for other kind of business instead of what I need someone to do in my company. So we always have to think about that. I remember at technical school when I went in there and this lady had just about everything falling out of her clothes. And it just was like, no, very, very unprofessional. I'm not there to view body parts. I'm there because I'm giving a program that day, a presentation, and I need her to tell me where to go, in a sense. So think about that as well, what the dress code is. If you're not quite sure, bring a couple different things in your car. If you've been very casual all day and you see people are really dressed up more, you can grab a nicer shirt or blouse or shoes or whatever you need and change, if you can, in the car, in a restroom. Or it might be that you've been all dressed up all day and you see, well, these people are very casual because this is a casual event. There again, your casual shoes, if they're tennis, should be polished or clean, and casual clothes for a professional means they're ironed, they're clean, they look professional. And I would say start watching. I see when I'm out, even at outdoor concerts right now in the summer, you can tell the ones who are professional by the types of casual clothing that they're wearing. It makes a big impression on if you run into them later or you want to talk to them about working with you on a particular project. So look at their professionalism, unprofessionalism. Are they stiff, quirky, relaxed? It says a lot. It says a lot, and if people will approach you or not. So I have a program on business cards. I'm not going to talk about that today, but if you have any questions on that, you can also contact me, because business cards can be very, very important in sharing what you do with other people. So you can meet them at another time. Conversational starters, again, are something that I will share at a later date, but when you're with other people, you're talking with someone, and you see someone approach you, and maybe you know that other person, and you know that this new one you met, after talking to that person, these two, not you, but these two could have a good business relationship because this person needs what that person does. And so you always want to make sure you're introducing people, building up your community, but then also being able to help other people build up their communities, because when you do that, you not only make new friends, but you build up your business as well, and people will come to you and talk to you a lot more and do more business with you in any way that they can. So to wrap up now, just think about energy and what effect your energy is having on other people, because you could literally feel it. Once I got really impressed with this and started studying about feelings and energy, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so true. If I'm kind of crabby because I had a bad day and I meet up with other people and they can feel that, and I went, oops, nope, can't do that. And so think about, again, the energy that's coming off. It is so critical. It's so important. Think about your hands. Hands are open when you're opening people up into your life, into your conversations, but hands can be clenched when you're upset. Hands can be, arms folded, maybe because you're cold, but maybe because you're shutting people off. And so think about your hands. Think about a nice handshake. Handshakes say a whole lot about if you care about that person. A little wimpy handshake's going to say one of two things. Either I don't have enough confidence in myself, so I'll just kind of give you a little handshake, or it could say you're not worth my whole hand. So here's just a little wimpy handshake. So handshakes say a lot when you first meet someone. And if somebody takes your hand and turns it like this, That's subconscious saying, I have the upper hand. I have the upper hand. So then you just turn it back up and say, it's very nice to meet you, and shake their hand. And a lot of salespeople have been trained to do that on purpose, especially with like a bigger purchase like a car. But watch the handshake and give a nice, not a knuckle buster, but give a nice firm handshake showing that you're in control of your life, you respect them, you're happy to meet them, but they know that they can't take over in the conversation because you're smart and you're intelligent and you're confident. So that's important. Eye contact, again, if you're too uncomfortable looking someone in the eye when you're talking, look at them right here, because it kind of looks like you're looking at the eye. A lot of times people will look at eyes, look at mouth, because that's where our words are coming from. You just don't want to be gawking around everywhere while you're talking to someone, because they pick up on that and go, well, I guess I'm not very interesting because they're looking everywhere but at me. So eye contact is important. Your statements and questions that you have, make sure you're questioning them, showing them a lot of interest, and then also adjusting the mode of speaking with who you're talking to. So if you're talking to a bunch of frazzled people that their company is going through trouble, you want to show a lot of empathy, a lot of understanding, a lot of feelings, because they're feeling things. And if you need to take control, be powerful, but be engaging, not haughty, not mean, but really stand up and engage in a conversation that they will listen to, they will respect, but they be engaged in them. Watch their faces, watch their reactions, so you know if you need to adjust those a little bit. So that's it for now, and I will continue on with this with the next program. So thank you and have a very awesome week.